Early in my career as the St. Helens production manager, I made a significant rookie mistake, one that I'll never forget and luckily never made again. Now, I was responsible for board forming and fabrication of the multi-million square feet of ceiling tiles that we produced every year. Now, board forming is the heart of the process. If you don't keep the board mill running and the dryer running, there's a lot of risk of quality issues, scrap issues, and potentially fire. Now, we had a 400-foot long dryer that had 8 levels holding tons of material, and all of that material had to go through a dry saw to be cut into 4-foot by 8-foot panels. If the dry saw had difficulties or was jamming, you could slow the material in the dryer for a short period of time and dump wet material into what we called the wet broke chest for a short period of time as well. But after a while, you'd have to shut everything down, and if you weren't careful, there could be a significant fire. Now, one day, early in my tenure, we were experiencing some significant downtime in the fabrication area. Now, the board mill and the dry saw were running just fine, and we were offloading boards to the side. But with about 45 minutes of maintenance work left, the dry saw started having difficulties. Now, I had the entire maintenance crew working on the issues in fab, and some of the workers were actually underneath a significant piece of equipment. So, it seemed to me that we needed to keep the work in fabrication going. It seemed like we'd be able to finish it before the dry saw and the dryer would become a problem. Unfortunately, after instructing the crew to stay focused on fab, the dryer situation and dry saw situation worsened. There was a jam and then a fire. Well, at that point, everybody had to drop what they were doing and take material out of that dryer and the board mill and the dry saw. And we basically had a small fire that we were able to put out and a jammed dryer that took more than 16 hours to rectify. 16 hours of downtime was actually the longest amount of downtime I experienced in my 3 years there. And it was a significant error in judgment. Now, I reviewed it with my boss, the manufacturing manager, and he said, "Hey, we've all made this mistake once in our career, but we'll only make it once." So from then on, I always prioritized that board mill, the key process in our entire system, as number one. So whenever we had difficulty, I always redirected resource to it. Again, I only made that mistake once, and thank goodness I learned that valuable lesson early, and no one was hurt during that process. I hope this story provided you with some inspiration to revisit your own processes. I have a lot more I'd like to share. Head over to pi-partners.com to learn how I can help. And check back from time to time for more Kaizen stories.